people are still queuing to get into the show, and we're pretty much about to join them and get inside there to get a lot more interviews from companies big and small and games that you may have never seen before and you might be interested in. So keep an eye on. Welcome to GMS Magazine at Spiel 2013. In this edition, we talk to the designer of Suburban Dispute. And we meet E-raptor. Mage Company. Abracam. Fable Smith. Wotan Games. And ZMan Games. But first, he might have lost half of the beard, but he has not lost an ounce of his charisma. Mr. Christopher Badell, I'm so pleased to see you, second year running at Spiel, and still doing as well as you were doing last year with twice the space. That's quite a commitment. How did you come out to deciding I'm going to do twice as much?
Well, the same way we did this year. We'll probably do twice as much next year. Last year we had our 2 tables and they were always full, and there was always people that always wanted to play more, and we had lines. And so we're like, okay, we need more space, but we can only do more space if we have more volunteers and more staff. And so we put out a call. Can we get some volunteers? Can we get some staff? And we did. So we got some space and we filled it full of tables, and the tables are always full of people. And so next year we'll need more. And next year we'll have more products too. So
yes, which I'm very much looking forward to those, and we'll talk about them in a minute. But I'm quite interested in finding out what has been the logistics like to actually do twice as much. Because last year you sold a lot of stuff, and this year you had to think about how much material to bring to sell as much as possible and take back home as little as you can, which is actually the trick. How have you worked out the formula to achieve that efficiently?
we've just gotten better at calculating what's going to sell, what we should bring, what people are interested in. Last year we brought 2.5 pallets of stuff and sent home a pallet. We didn't send home a pallet of product, but we had logistical things and banners and supplies and stuff. And so, that shipping that pallet home was so expensive. Shipping anything, especially a pallet, is so expensive. And so, for us this year, we sent more stuff than we sent last year, and we're sending nothing home. We'll have a couple of banners left over, and we'll auction those off or whatever. But we're not going to have any product to send home. The numbers are really looking good, and we've already sold out of several of our various mini expansions and accessories and things, and we're very low on our expansions and medium to low on our base game. And we have several stores that are in the UK and in Germany that have come to us and said, if you have anything left at the end of the show, we'll take it all. And so we're at the right point where we will have very little product at the end of the show. We'll sell it to stores, which is good because it gets more things in stores locally, which is what we want. And we'll go home just with the clothes on our back and our very small suitcases.
Full of games.
We haven't got a chance to pick up much or anything. We don't get to leave the booth. There's whips and things. So.
And you know what? I can't believe that because I really haven't seen the booth at all empty. Now, the one thing, though, is that you seem to be doing very, very well, not just selling the games, but also selling the accessories because the gaming mat, that's flying out.
It's 50 euros. It's so expensive, but it cost us a lot to make it. And the accessories are selling well, and the oversized cards, and all the little things that we wanted to make people are really are liking, and it's very encouraging to see that the things that we were interested in, they're like, man, I'm playing, what do I want? Well, I want this thing. Well, let's make it and see if people like it. People like it. So it's good to know that we have a really good connection with our customer base, and the people like what we like, which is kind of the entire concept of how this company works. So
and it's working very well for you. I mean, you've been success after success in Kickstarter. How is Shatter's Timelines doing?
Oh, Shadow Timelines is doing amazingly well. People have responded really well to it. It's great. Every time we release an expansion, very quickly after that, the fans that we hear from a lot are like, oh, the new heroes are my favorite heroes. They're the best heroes ever. And oh, these are the best heroes. They're the best ones. And so people are like, oh, well, I found my favorite and I'll never switch. And so I'm really excited because in like 3 months here, we're releasing another expansion. And I'm looking forward to these are the best heroes, because that's what's going to happen.
The interesting thing, though, is that you keep coming out with expansions. And I know a lot of gamers are very snotty about, it's another expansion. They're just milking the thing. That doesn't happen with you. People are genuinely liking the fact that you're coming out with expansions. How are you achieving that?
Well, part of it is that they know there's an end game. We don't get, they've got another expansion. We're getting close to the end, right? Because we are. From the start, we have said there is a beginning, a middle, and an end. We've passed the middle, and the end is coming up, and it's the end of the story. It's not. We're not going to publish more expansions after that. There is an end point that we've been working to from the beginning, and our biggest hope at the beginning is, man, wouldn't it be cool if we got to tell the end of our story? And we're getting to. It's coming up here in a couple of years. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it because it's so cool, and people are really resonating well. The main complaint that we get these days is, so wait, there's only like 2 or 3 expansions left, right? Yeah. But then what? Well, then it's over.
That's kind of cruel.
We have other things.
You do, and you do some other things coming out. Galactic Strike Force. Right. You had to delay the game.
Right.
What's happening with that?
It's in its production stages now, and it's going really well. We just needed to take in a couple years. I want people to look back and go, oh, Galactic Strike Force, wasn't that the game that was delayed? Not, oh, Galactic Strike Force, it sucks. I would rather take the time and make it a really good game and put the time and effort onto it than rush it and just get it published. A part of it, too, was that we were doing Vengeance and Galactic Strike Force and Con season with PAX Australia and Origins and Gen Con and PAX Prime all in a row. All of those things were happening simultaneously. And we said, okay, we can kill ourselves and rush these things through and have these products be pretty good, or we can take a step back, communicate with our fans and our customers and say, hey guys, here's what's happening. We're delaying this, and it'll be worth it. I don't regret the choices that we've made. It was the right choice to push that back and make it a better product.
No, I completely agree, and I don't know the answer to this, as I'm going to ask you, but I doubt very much you've had many complaints about that.
No, the vast majority of people have been like, oh, goodness, yes, you're doing the right thing, thank you so much. And about 1 in 20 are like, well, I wanted it on time. And we're like, I'm really sorry, we wanted it on time too. No one is more disappointed about the delay than I am. But
I'm sure it will be absolutely worth it. And now I need to drop the bombshell question. Sentinels of the Multiverse, the mini-series for the television cartoon, when is it coming out?
2015.
You heard it here first. 2015. Don't let us down.
Finger puppets, so I have to. We're more focused on making things like we're going to do more comic books, like we did the one comic book on our website. We have a really exciting product coming out by the end of the year that'll be out in time for Christmas that I'm really excited about, but I can't talk about. That is not a game, but it's a peripheral thing. And we have lots of things we want to make. I would love to make an animated series.
That would be amazing.
We'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed.
Hey, all you animators out there, call me.
Call him, please. I was saying seriously, please call him, okay? Chris, as always, an absolute pleasure to see you. Absolutely fantastic to see the booth so busy. I cannot wait to see you taking on the whole hall in the next couple of years.
Next year, we're going to be here. We'll have Galactic Strike Force. We'll probably have another game that is unrelated to these. We'll have expansions for things, and we're going to have it probably twice the booth size. And you better come back and talk to me again.
You're not going to get rid of me. It's not going to happen. Thank you. If you're a follower of the podcast and you've listened to it, you will have heard 2 podcasts episodes, recently, in which we have been talking at length about a game called Ortus. It's an abstract 2-player game where monks fight each other, and my friend Michael Chamberlain has fallen in love with the game, and this is the man responsible for that to happen. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
How is Ortus going on in Spiel? Because I still have not seen one seat available since the show began.
That's true. That's what makes it a bit crazy to do. Every time I'm starting to lose my voice already, and it's only Friday. But it's constantly busy. People stopping by, seeing other people play, talking to them how it works. Everybody's very excited. Everybody's. It's harder to explain because there are a lot of new elements in this game, and it's like a circular mechanism, which makes it a bit hard to get your head around in the first 30 seconds. But if you spend 2 minutes learning the game, everything clicks, and most people just fall in love with it, like Michael did at least.
And understandably so as well. The Kickstarter has done very well, which is terrific news. But surprisingly enough, the Kickstarter wasn't really to get the game out. The game was already out. Yeah. So what were you trying to do with the Kickstarter?
The game was already out because I found some very enthusiastic investor that wanted to see this game produced, no matter what. So the Kickstarter we've put up to be able to make the digital version of the game, which we're working very hard on, to make it an iPad game and to Android as well. Maybe we'll even move to Mac and PC in the future. And also to make the miniature line. Right now we have some really awesome wooden meeples, which some people love. Other people really like to see the miniature line, and we think this game is cool enough and has more than enough legs to validate making a miniature line for this as well.
The game is an abstract 2-player game, which is quite deep in terms of the strategy. What has been the best piece of feedback that people have given you so far about the game here at Spiel?
The feedback from here is actually that, wow, okay, this is really cool that you've done this. And it's very nice that you've put symbols on the chests of the players so you can know what the melee warriors and what the ranged warriors are. And I like it that you have a double-sided board. And I like it that this is now easily explained, etc. But that all stems from very good and very useful feedback I've done from the hundreds of playtests I've done before.
Now, one thing that I would personally be quite concerned for a game like Ortus at a convention is if people are going to get analysis paralysis. Are you experiencing that, or are people able to get on with it and play the game without many problems at a convention environment, which is quite pressured because people don't have time for everything?
Yeah, true. And I think that maybe what makes it that analysis paralysis might be a bit less here. People just want to go, okay, they just want to experience the game and see what it's about. They don't necessarily need to win. I didn't see any frustration so far in here. I did see that during playtesting and people, friends of mine playing the game, making a mistake and then getting frustrated, but that's not the environment here. But what I can tell, if you play with a friend who has analysis paralysis, or you have it yourself, if you want to speed it along, you can just use the chess clock variant to move things along. You give everybody 15 minutes. If a player falls below the 15 minutes, he loses as well. So then you'll have 3 ways to victory instead of the 2 that are already there. So that's also solved.
What is the distribution like at the moment for Ortus? If people in the US, who I know that they watch these videos quite a lot, are interested in getting Ortus, how can they go about it?
I think they'll have to be a little bit patient. The Kickstarter backers will get the game pretty soon. The campaign is already closed, so that's a bit too late. But I've been talking to a lot of interested distributors right now who want to get this game out. Some of them are really big and worldwide, so I don't think you'll have to wait too long before they find one in the shops.
Can they buy the game through your website at the moment, even if they have to pay for international shipping?
Yes, they can. They can just send me an email. Just go to fablesmith.com and find the address. it's viable from that. But I think the easiest way is if they have enough patience, they can wait until it's in the shops, and otherwise we can figure something out.
Don't have patience. Seriously, get this game as soon as you can. Just thank you so much. I really hope the show continues to be, and I really hope by Sunday you have nothing left.
As do I. As do I. Yeah, I'd like to leave with an empty car.
We had to come out of the hall because it's so crowded, but I was not going to miss a chance to talk to Smith from E-raptor, a company that I came across not long ago when they sent me some stuff to do the videos they do. So, you tell me, what do you guys do?
What we're doing is gaming accessories, something to improve gameplay itself. It's not things to. There are not things to publish with the games. If you want to improve the game, your gameplay, if you want to make an order, keep an order about your game table, this is where you came to us.
How old is your company? Because I've only heard from you very recently. How long have you been trading?
The company runs for 2 years now, but we are on the European markets since July, so it's 3 months now. Because we wanted to be prepared. Our products are really well thought items. We don't want to give to our customers anything that we wouldn't play with.
And the sort of stuff that you do, they're basically much so pieces of games can be placed and arranged in a tidy manner around the table. How did the idea originate? How did you go about creating them?
Well, we are players ourselves. My bosses are players ourselves, and they are quite different people together. But when they started to talk about it and thought about it, they want to improve their gameplay. So, in fact, they started to doing it for themselves, and our whole company, the people that now run the company, we are all players. Everybody in this company is a game player. So we are doing items for ourselves and we're sharing with another people with it.
You do boards of mats for the player pieces and stuff. You're also doing little boxes. You do dice towers. What's the range of products you have?
We have stands that are designed to direct titles, like Talisman, like Agricola, Game of Thrones, and many more. We have dice towers, simple dice towers, and a little fancy ones, like the Dragon one. Yes, this really beautiful stuff. And then goes the storage boxes and card feeders, so players can keep their gameplay organized. We want to organize the gameplay.
If anybody's interested in getting your products, at the moment I presume you're selling through your website.
Yes.
How else are you selling? How can people get hold of this?
For now, we are gaining the distributors in European markets. People can buy our products from our website, but for now we are stuck in German market, in French, Spanish market. So we are in the product range of Heidelberger Spielverlag. We are in the product range of Millennium in Spain, and in France, of course. We are in the product range of Ludwig Bazaar and Games Quest in England. In fact, I couldn't tell about all the shops that we're in product range, but you can see our website. You can go to the retailers section and they're all there.
Also, I presume if a company wanted to get you guys to do something for them, is that a service, do you have a bespoke service for game publishers for their specific games? Say Fantasy Flight wanted to get something specific for Legends of Andor, for example. Would you be able to do that?
We're aiming to it. This is the thing we want to achieve. So the biggest players in this branch would like us to do something for them. So this is what we are doing. This in the business matter. Yes, I said that we are game players and we're doing it for ourselves when we play games. But in the business matter, we want to play with the biggest players in this branch.
And what would be the turnaround time? How long in development it takes to create a new product, average?
Give us the game, and in about, I think, 3 days you'll have the first project.
Really?
Okay, 4.
I mean, that is quite impressive. That is really, really quick.
It's a matter of experience that we have already. We are looking at the game and we know what is capable for. Not every game is capable to do accessory for it, because some of it doesn't have so much individual elements, and it's in fact not need for it to organize it. It's organized itself. But there are many games. Like Legends of Under, like Game of Thrones, with all these pawns, like Talisman, with all these markers, and well, like I said, give us a couple of days, and we'll prepare some first project for it.
I mean, that is really amazing, and I'm thinking how fantastic it would be, and this is one for you viewers, publisher viewers, how fantastic it would be to have your products as some sort of stretch goal for Kickstarters, because if you can turn them around that quickly, it would be a really neat add-on to an awful lot of games out there.
Yes, you're right.
Smith, thank you so much for your time. I know you've been extremely busy at the booth. I've seen you talking to an awful lot of people in the 10 minutes that I've been hanging around. I hope you sell out and really come back to Spiel next year with more space, more products, and more things, because they really are looking absolutely lovely.
Thank you, and well, I hope we sold out too, but it's not the main purpose why we are here. We want to people know about us. There are many people, there are huge amount of people that didn't bought anything from us here, but we are certain that they will be in contact with us. They will like us on Facebook, they will see our website, and they will know E-raptor. What we are trying to achieve is when, you know, one player came to another player to play board game, and they are playing, and why do you don't have eruptor stuff for it? We want it to be natural. We want it to be natural.
I hope that happens as soon as possible. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, thank you too.
For the next interview, I am joined by my co-host and reviewer from the Boardgame Review Room podcast, Michael Chamberlain. A game that's been very dear to me since before it came out. I saw the print and play, and I played it, and then I recorded the video for the Kickstarter, and I've been following very closely how it was developing, and I follow the company very closely because it's a mage company and they do wrong chemistry, and I was expecting to see a great game in 12 Realms. I did not expect to see how absolutely beautiful it's looking. Alexander, what an absolutely amazing job you guys have managed to do with 12 Realms.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's a pleasure to have finally ready the game, and of course, thanks for your help. Yeah, the campaign on Kickstarter was ending successfully, and we also ran a campaign on Spiel Smith to create the German version of the game. And we think that it's a small hit so far. Based on what we see in the people's reaction, everybody enjoy the game, so I think it's cool, yeah.
Give us very quickly a rundown as to what the game is all about and how it plays.
Okay, 12 Realms is a fantasy cooperative game for 1 to 6 players, but also there is a variant in the game for a 7th player, a dark player. So this guy, if you choose it, tries to manipulate the game and destroy the other players. The game is fully cooperative, and the purpose is to destroy 1 lord per realm. There are 4 realms in the game, so there are 2 dark lords in each one, and you have to choose one at the beginning of the game to win. So you take your miniature, you take your cardboard, the talents, and you have to empower your character during the gameplay, and you have to work along with players, spend gold coins and buy cards and buy promo cards or several abilities to win the invaders who target the realm. So the purpose is to protect the realms. This is the basic concept. There are 5 different difficulty levels in the game, and you can have an easy game for kids or a hard game for gamers, for families. It's very flexible on how you can control the game. So, for example, 4 players can choose 2 realms, which is very easy, or two players can choose 3 or 4 realms, which is impossible to win. Yeah, it's something like that. Inside the game, there are the good characters and the Black Fortress variant. And we have separated the Dark Lords and the buildings for those who want to expand their miniatures collection. This is the basic game. Yeah.
The other big release you've got is the expansion for Wrong Chemistry.
Yes, last year we had the basic game, so this year we have Expand Your Lab. And this game now adds to the game a 5th player. The original game was for 2 to 4 players, and now we add a 5th player and few variants. The game changes on how it begins and how it ends. You know, we have added few variants, a few new rules to restore the balance of the game. So now we have created 5 new black cards with 5 points each, and the players can claim these cards, but to form these molecules is very hard. You need over 9, 10, or 11 actions. So you have, if the players claim these cards, the game ends. So we decreased the total time of the game, and I think that people now will enjoy it much better, of course. Yeah, it's.
It's quite interesting of you guys to see that as a company, both Wrong Chemistry and 12 Realms are completely different games. How do you manage to do so many different styles of gaming and making sure that the games are as good as they can be?
Yeah, basically this is what we have in our mind. As a company, our target is to create different games. So even for the future, we have chosen completely different. I mean, yeah, we can publish some card games, but we want to create totally different. You know, it's not like you have a chess and then you remove the pawns of the chess and put some miniatures on it. I think, yeah, the miniatures are okay, but still is a chess. Yeah. So we can play with ideas and innovative mechanics so people can enjoy it.
Now, the other thing, Alex, is that your company has grown a lot in terms of the production of your games, because producing Wrong Chemistry is a relatively simple, small game. With 12 Realms, you have upped the artwork, you have upped the production, you have upped in production of minis. What has the experience been like?
Difficult, very difficult, because to create 12 Realms, we had to use 5 different factories. Wow. For gold coins, for molds, for the miniatures, for the dice, for the cards. And we had to watch all the time the factories, what they do, because too many mistakes and problems were coming up, so we didn't know if everything could be okay at the end. But I think that this experience learned us a lot. Mm-hmm. So the next games will be much easier to handle them, except if you think, again, something different. So we need more factories to make a game. Yeah, it's something like that, yeah.
You speak of the next game, given Wrong Chemistry and 12 Realms are so different, do you already have lined up where the next location is, which we can expect to see Mage Company producing?
Yeah, for the next years, we already have scheduled our games for several years, yeah. And the next game is coming on November. Again on Kickstarter, Spiel Smith. Yeah, we intend to do an English and German games from now on. And it's a new horror miniature game called the Amityville Project. Phobos is the first part, because there are 3 different games, 3 different parts. And we jump from 23 miniatures, where 12 Realms has, to 100 miniatures. And the work is a lot ahead, because, you know, people yeah, will see the mirrors and say, hey, guys, stop or something, yeah. And, of course, for the next year, we have the expansion of 12 Realms. Ancestors' Legacy is the next 4 realms, and, of course, much more heroes and Dark Lords and variants. We think to make a scenario book, you know, with how you can play with all the players on each realm, different things, so people can enjoy it better. And it's a game that we were working for several years, Eragra, or as we call it, the Game of Eras, and it's definitely going to be published next year as a card miniature game, because we have worked it a lot. And so we hope in the next session we come up with more games and people love them.
Now, all those games, how can people buy them?
Okay, they can find the games on our website, because we have an online shop, but also our games are distributed in several countries, in Europe, USA, Australia. So I think that if they go to a near store and ask about the game, I hope the owner has it, so it's so simple.
Alex, thank you so much for your time today. It is genuinely thrilling to see 12 Realm looking so amazing and flying off the shelves as it is, which is fantastic that people are picking up so much. Best of luck for the future. I really hope that we'll see a great deal more from you very, very soon indeed.
Thanks a lot, and it was an honor for me to speak about the game. Thank you. Thanks.
As ever, it's very good to see people exhibiting in Spiel, and it's very interesting to see how my friend here, Mr. Julian Musgrave, who is releasing Camelot The Build with Wotan Games. Julian, this is not the first time you are in Essen Spiel exhibiting, but it's the first time for a very, very long time.
Almost too long to remember. We were in Essen probably 20 years ago when we were in the publishing business. Now we're back in publishing, so naturally we're back in Essen.
Right, firstly, what has brought you back into publishing? What game?
The game is Camelot The Build. This is a much simpler game than we were publishing before. It's only 3 rules, it's 30 minutes to play, so it's a very modern game in the way it presents and the way it plays. As to who brought me back into business, you've got to blame this guy here. My business. He can be intelligent when he tries.
He does, bless him, very well indeed, very well. Tell me a little bit about Camelot. What is it all about? How does it play?
Okay, well the storyline is King Arthur has got a plan for Camelot, but his brain's elsewhere, indeed, if he can even find it. So we have to build a game. It's a tile-laying game. There's a plan of Camelot the castle. We have 80 tiles. You have quite a lot of choice where those tiles can go. Now, there's only 3 rules. I won't take you through the 3 rules, rule by rule, but the thing is, you score from the tiles that you put down. You score from the tiles that are already on the table. And that's the cute bit, because that means if I lay a high-scoring tile and it's your turn, you can score that off that one as well. And that really is the heart of the mechanic. Do you play out your high-score tiles, score well, and then you score off my tiles, or do I hold back my tiles? That is the conflict that goes on in your head all through the game.
How does it play in terms of the ages? Can children play this game?
Yeah, if you can count up to 5 or 6, you can probably play this game.
I can't. Okay, that's fine. I cannot play the game. What has been actually for you, because you were in publishing for a very long time ago, and now you're back. I'm very interested to find out what's the difference between the publishing business 20 years ago and the publishing business now?
Oh, well, that's very clear. The publishing business, when we went out of business, along with a lot of other names, like Avenel and TSR and Laurin, who are our German publisher, it was a game. Board games were dying. You know, you couldn't give them away. Now you come to here, you go to Expo in Birmingham. Wow, I mean, this is just so exciting. We've got the old-time gamers, people like my generation, but it's the young people, it's the women, it's the children, it's the family. Just so exciting. You can't not be in it. I mean, it's just too exciting.
And after Camelot, what happens? Because I remember your old game Excalibur. Are you going to bring it back? What's going to happen to that?
We have 2 lines of games now, Paco. We have what we call the Camelot Chronicle games, which are 3 rule games. So these are games that anybody can play. You would say they're family games, except there is a lot of strategy. There's a lot of subtlety. So hobby games players will buy them, will play them, and get value from them. So that's one line of games. Then we have the Mallory series, which we're going to do with Excalibur 2nd edition, Merlin 2nd edition, Robin Hood 2nd edition. These are hobby games, so they're the more complex ones. They're kind of complexity level 5 or 6. The Camelot Chronicle games, they're sort of complexity level 2 or 3. So we're going to have those 2 streams running out. We've opened on the Camelot Chronicles just because we had that game ready. We're working on the games now.
So it sounds like you're planning on being very busy for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, very, very busy. And the interesting thing is we've shown Excalibur 2nd edition to a number of other publishers, a number of other people in the industry, they're very excited. There's a big memory about things like Robin Hood and Excalibur, even King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, which frankly looking back, wasn't a terribly good game. People want us to republish that. Now, whether we get round to that, I don't know, but Merlin, Excalibur, Robin Hood, they will be back in new editions.
It must be quite a warm feeling to know that people still remember the old games from yesteryear.
I tell you, there's nothing more satisfying. You're sitting here demonstrating a game and someone comes up to you, hugs you, I just love that game. You know, it makes you feel you've done something, and it's good, yeah.
Well, best of luck for the rest of the show. I hope it really continues to be a success after success, and look forward to seeing what else you're coming out in the hopefully not too distant future.
Distant future, indeed. Okay, thanks for that.
Card games have traditionally been that, card games. But there are still an awful lot of people investigating what to do with computer card games and how to add new tweaks to the mechanics that have been present and to new mechanics that can be developed using computer science. And Feria is one of those games that has been developed and is going to be crowdfunded very, very soon indeed. And I'm with Martin Pielot. Martin, you do the graphic design and the game development for Feria. Can you tell me a little bit about the game? What is Feria all about?
So what is special with Feria is we have a board. So you create the board during the game. It's like a chessboard. Instead, it's hex based because hexes are very interesting for the gameplay. And that's the main thing. The other thing is we don't sell cards. So you cannot buy cards with money in Feria. Those are the two very specific things.
Why did you decide to go the digital way instead of publishing the physical way?
So we work as friends for a long time, and digital, it was, when we were younger, it was at least possible to create a game by ourselves, distribute it on the internet, and so that was something we had to start with.
And in terms of the game itself, I mean, there are an awful lot of card games out there, and an awful lot of games that have been coming out in both computers and tablets and everything. What sets Feria apart from all the card games?
The tactical board is very specific to Feria because there is much more skill, I think, and less draw importance. And that's something I personally like a lot in the game. Also, the business model is very different from most games, most card games. There is more and more card games that try to go and offer different things. But they will always allow people to buy cards. And that's something I think destroy a bit the soul of the game.
I have to say, it looks beautiful. It really looks beautiful. How do you go about producing the look and feel of the game?
I think how we did it is it's only about time, taking a lot of time and a lot of care, love about what we do. And also we wanted to look for something different than other fantasy games that are often dark and realistic. And here there is much more inspiration from the Japanese animations, from cartoon, but we also try to be very serious. So it's also colorful and cute, but also very serious. And there is a whole mythology that is very solid, I think.
So what was the background story of the game?
Also, you see in the game there is a snake, and it tells the clock of the game. And actually, in the mythology, the snake destroys everything. It destroys even light, and the gods had to push him away from the world. So now he's circling around the world, and that's what creates time. That creates sun and day and light, and that's the general story. So it's a lot about the gods and spirits and how they want to fight for the energy because of the snake. That the snake Ouroboros is like destroying the world,
And what role do the players take?
they are also gods, and they create. They have a special part in the world because they need to save the world from the fate, the terrible fate that is happening.
That's quite an important task.
Yes, it is. It is.
Now, at the moment, the game is in beta, and I believe you're going to take it to Kickstarter to fund what exactly? What do you need the money for?
So we are only 4 people in the team, but we don't get paid for what we do. So the first thing will be to pay ourselves. And another thing is there is only one coder on the game. So getting help for this, it's a very huge project for one coder. And we really need someone to help. And also the illustrations. Most of the cards you will see in the game right now are placeholders that are shapes. And so it will help to pay illustrators.
When is the Kickstarter campaign going to be released?
So it is running right now, and it is already 90% funded, and only 2 weeks. Already, there is still 2 weeks.
So it will fund.
I think yes. Yes, we can say it will fund. Now we are hoping to reach stretch goals.
Excellent.
Yes.
Once the campaign is funded, because let's assume it is going to be funded, and what's the turnaround for the game? When would you expect to have the final finished product?
We are thinking about 8 months.
Very quick.
Yeah, but still a lot of players are already demanding the game to be released. So yeah.
And quite frankly, looking as it looks, I'm not surprised. I would want it to be ready now because it's looking absolutely lovely. Thank you very much indeed for your time. I'm really pleased I popped by. I'm really pleased I'm seeing what I'm seeing. I'm really pleased that the Kickstarter has worked out. I cannot wait to see this proper, fully out there. Best of luck for the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the info.
Yet again, friends, another interesting company with an interesting game from Northern Europe, this time from Sweden. I'm with Jacob Sund. Jacob, what is Suburban Dispute? I've never heard of the game before, I confess my ignorance, so please tell me everything about it.
Well, first of all, this is my first game, so it's a tiny company, I'm all alone, I'm doing everything by myself. Trying to distribute it. It's a game, it's a fun game, light game, that I try to make like a lot of humor I'm trying to implement into the game. It's about a small suburb to Chicago, 1930s, and you're all neighbors in a small street, and you all hate each other. So the main mission is to do missions against each other to ruin and destroy what the other one's building and what the other one is progressing through the game. So there's 3 different levels. Level 1 is simple, you steal your neighbor's morning newspaper, stuff like that. And then it gets advanced, and on level 3 it's drive-by shootings and kidnap your neighbor's daughter and, you know, crazy stuff like that. And you gain points by doing your missions when you succeed, so you level up and this and that. It is a dice game, not the dice game only, but I mean you roll the dice in order to see if you succeed with the missions or not. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't like that, and a lot of people that love the chance that there is. But I always tell everyone, I've written a note here, it's a stupid game with blind luck, so no one can make a mistake. No, but the people like it so far. I mean,
where did the idea originate from?
It was me and a friend walking in town one day, and we were discussing how annoying some neighbors were. And we just wished that we can do something towards them. And that's where the idea came. we thought about it, like, it would be really fun to make a board game out of this, just to annoy each other so much we want to really hit each other afterwards. So I decided to develop this, and it's been a little bit more than 2 years in the making now. And now finally it came out, so I'm quite happy about it.
Did you decide to start designing the game with the aim of actually turning into a professional product, or was it something that you began to think about and then you thought, actually, I could do something with this?
In the beginning I thought it was a fun thing, maybe not in a big scale, but then it developed more and more. And then I thought maybe this could be something that I could put on the market, the real board game market. I mean, there's a small chance it might succeed. There's a million games out there, but still, you got to try in order to know. So,
and what was the process like? I mean, I know very little about the Swedish board game scene. What was the process like to get something from the concept to actually complete it and get a professional product?
Well, I didn't really have any contacts within the board game business, so I took everything and researched a lot on the net by myself. I looked for printing houses and where I could turn to maybe get help with the artwork and this and that. And last year I decided to go here to Spiel Essen and to maybe get some contacts, and that really just got my blood pumping even more. I got some names, I got some contacts, and it got rolling like that. But in Sweden, if you don't know the right people, it's really hard to get anywhere. Unfortunately. I mean, but it's like that with all businesses, I guess. But even though there should be some way to get some kind of small push in, since board games it's on the outside of what's modern nowadays, but it's still a huge business. So everyone should, like, if you're showing some interest, you should come here, I'll take you under my wing. It's like, but that's how it is.
Now that the game is out, what are your plans? Would you like to continue developing these games or different games? What do you want to do now?
I have several games in the making at the moment. Hopefully I will be able to just get another game out by next year. But you never know, anything could happen. It also costs money to produce games. It's not free. So it all depends. I mean, if it goes well for Suburban Dispute, I will, of course, make a larger batch of the game, start selling more abroad, and then also start producing the other games.
What's the availability of the game if people want to get their hands on? How can they buy it?
At the moment, it's only through my website or through my Facebook site. So you have to contact me first, and then I will again answer, and I will send out the game, of course.
Well, Jacob, best of luck with it. So far, it's looking really sweet, and I've seen a few people playing the game. They were laughing an awful lot, so it must be fun.
That's the main idea.
And look forward to seeing what else comes out from you, man. It should be good.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I mean, I'm not going to introduce this man. It's ZMan Games. Come on, it's the Z-Man himself. So,
How you doing, man?
okay, anyone would think that you guys are selling hotcakes because those games are flying off the shelves just the same. That's insane.
I know, it's been crazy since Thursday. It's been amazing.
Well, I've been walking about. I've passed I don't know how many times by your booth. Not once a table has been available. And you have a lot of tables.
Yeah, we do. We expanded quite a bit from last year, and it worked. I mean, the tables are still filling up, which is fantastic.
Well, it seriously is. And you have a lot of stuff coming out this year as well. Tell me a little bit about what kind of goodness, hotness you have selling at the moment.
Well, right now we have Glass Road, of course, Bruxelles 1893. We have Tashkalar, Carcassonne South Seas, blueprints. I hope I'm not missing anything. That's just, I think, what's very new for the show. I think Voyage of the Beagle, which is an expansion to Robinson Crusoe. And then we have some other expansions, Ginkopolis, The Experts, and a Dungeon Pets expansion. And then we have some games that came out a little while ago, Bruges, the new Neuroshima Hex, and several other games like that. Just a lot of different games.
Yeah, and they're looking, Blueprint. Well, lovely little game. That looks absolutely sweet, really, really sweet. Dice, lots of dice. Tell me about it.
Yeah, the dice are used for materials. You're basically building a blueprint pan, you're building a building, and the dice represent different materials, glass, wood, recycled, stone, recycled materials, stone, and they all score differently. So glass will score different, recycled material will score differently, and all different ways you put it. You're trying to make a blueprint, and you're trying to be the highest scorer, and of course, maybe trying to make patterns that can score you even more goals, like maybe making a tower, or maybe making dice of the same material or dice of the same value. Yeah.
Is there an element of strategy? Because dice tend to be a bit on the random size. Is there an element of a strategy to the game as well?
I think most of the strategy is how you want to build your blueprint, and the other thing is possibly knowing what the other players are looking for in terms of materials and or dice faces that you want to start taking the dice that they may need. So that's where some of the strategy comes in.
So it's not just a matter of rolling dice and see what happens. You have to think.
Well, correct. Yeah, because the dice, the only rolling and luck factor is will you get the face that maybe you need to stack on top of your other die. That's about really the major luck element.
Oh, that sounds really interesting, and it's coming in a nice little box.
Little box, absolutely, yeah.
Excellent. Tashkala, it's been a hotness for quite some time. A lot of people talking an awful lot about it. How is it doing?
It's doing very, very well. It has the CGE name, the Czech Games Edition. Plus, you have the designer who's very well known, Vladish Badell. So, people expect goodness from him, and he doesn't fail to deliver.
For the people out there who may not have taken a look at the game yet, what is it like? What kind of game can they expect?
It is a little different than what you expect. It has chess-like movement or something, but it's really you're summoning creatures and you're trying to form patterns which will summon other creatures, and that's the important thing. So that's where like some of the chess-like comes in, because you are moving or you try to summon pieces that will form into that pattern, and then you just play cards from your hand when they match a pattern on the board, and usually that's a new creature, and the new creature can sometimes attack immediately or destroy things when it comes on the board. So it's an ever-changing board, which is really a little different than what he does, and it works very well. Very simple to explain and play.
That sounds pretty good. And you seem to be having a very good relationship with my friend Ignacy Trzewiczek and Portal, with Robinson Crusoe, the expansion now, Neuroshima Hex, and Robinson Crusoe, since it's a game. It's a brilliant game.
I love the game. I find it amazing. It's a great toolkit. It's a game because you can create so many different scenarios using what's existing over there, using all the different icons and everything. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that game.
Are you guys going to continue bringing out new expansions for it? Are you pushing that on that side?
We do have Voyage of the Beetle, so that's the next thing, and we're hoping that we will continue to give out all the expansions that he designs.
Good. Well, hopefully I'll talk to him later about that. And the new Neuroshima Hex, what is it like? Has anything been added to it? What's the new about it?
Well, the main change is it's graphically redesigned, and it looks very sweet. But beyond that, to make it a little different, we added a solo play, so we have a deck of puzzle cards, so that gives you a situation that you have to solve. So that allows the solo play. And then we also included a fifth army in the game, the Doomsday Army, which was an SN promo, I think, like 4 years ago or something like that. So that's what we added to it, but again, it really is the look of the game that's changed a lot.
That sounds really good. Zeb, I know you're very, very busy indeed, so I'll love you and leave you. Thank you so much. Best of luck for the rest of the show. You're obviously doing really well, and I really hope it continues and you have nothing left at the end of it.
I hope so too, but thank you very, very much. Take care.
As you can see, we are not the only ones hard at work doing video interviews. We have friends from the Board Game Geek really, really hard at work. We're going to take a break, but if you want to see some more of our videos, please do come back very shortly because we have a great deal more to show you. We'll see you very soon.